Hey guys, thank you all for clicking on the video. Real quick, I wanted to discuss this. This was kind of big news today. I didn't expect news to come out like this today. I was out frolicking in a fucking pumpkin patch. And then I saw this all over my Twitter and also a couple YouTube videos, and I was like, what the fuck? The day I don't stream or do anything, all this shit comes out. Um, New World is getting shut down, most likely. So basically what happened was Amazon altogether, this wasn't just New World or just Amazon Game Studio. This was an Amazon wide round of layoffs. I believe it was 16,000 employees on the corporate side of things that were laid off. So I'm pretty sure people on Twitch, regular Amazon, a bunch of different projects from Amazon Game Studios got affected by this, which really kind of sucks. It's always not fun for when people lose their jobs, obviously. So that really sucks. But New World, though, has been kind of in this weird state lately. They just released a new expansion, and everyone was kind of wondering when this announcement came out, what does this mean for New World? Well, we got the actual official update from New World themselves. They posted a tweet that links to an article, and I have the article pulled up here. I don't know if I'm going to show it on the screen or not. I might. But basically, it just says that it's basically saying the game's not shutting down, but it's no longer going to be getting updates. It is what the game is. The current state is state of the game right now is that is it. There's no more new updates, no changes, patch notes, or anything like that. Future coming to the game. It is done. It is finished. So that's sucks because I won't lie, the game, even though is pretty solid, I won't lie, the game's probably the most solid it will be. And who knows, the Nighthaven, it's called Night Raven, right? Fuck. I always fucking forget, bro, what the fuck this fucking thing is called. Hold on. What is it called? Nighthaven. There we go. So Nighthaven just recently came out, and I know a lot of people are having fun with it. The thematics are obviously lined up with Halloween and stuff like that. Fantastic fucking job with that, by the way. Um, it's the game's in a solid, decent state. I mean, I just don't see there being a route where this is going to get turned around or where New World's going to maybe grow again. I think you might see a small jump in player numbers. Right now, I think it's sitting around 30,000 players. There might be a small jump of player numbers just because of this news going out. But I don't see it doing any sort of turning of the tables. And so let's talk about the future here. They discussed that in this post directly from Amazon Game Studios, the New World team. They said that there'll be no longer any updates, and as of right now, that they plan on supporting the game through 2026. So if you play the game and you're a fan of the game today, and it's your daily game, as of right now, you are still able to play the game for at least another 14 months. You at least have another 14 months to play the game. Which I will say this, I am curious to see what they're going to do with this. I really do think they possibly could make it a solo open world game, which is interesting. I mean, to be honest with you, it would have been really cool if they just like made New World just a Souls-like game, you know what I mean? Take the IP, just make it a solo playable game, where like you start off in a zone and it's like Elden Ring, you go through all the dungeons, like fucking, make that like the pinnacle of dungeons in Elden Ring sort of. That would be kind of cool, honestly. Because, like, I mean, one of the biggest fucking problems with New World's combat is the net coding of the servers, bro. That shit was fucking terrible. It still kind of is kind of rough. But anywho, though, besides the point. That's what happened today. New World basically is not getting canned, but there will be no longer any updates to the game, which really sucks because now I kind of want to talk about I've already made a video talking about my opinion on the game and my history with the game, but I kind of want to talk about the outlook of what the future was before all of this. And my issue with New World was that it was always being outpaced from what the expectation of it should be. The game was always just, anytime they released an update, there was always the comment of, well, this is what the game should have been like when it released. And that's what happened every single time. Every single time the game was updated, I felt like it just always showed still that the game needed more work. That yes, sure, this is great. What the update that we got, this is great. Like for example, New World, the tournament, the fucking Angry Earth shit came out, right? Great, we got mounts. Movement still sucks. The dungeon's lame. We still have only gotten one new zone and a reworked zone, and the dungeons are still lame. And at that point, Rise of Angry Earth, we still didn't have raids. Still 0 raids. That's crazy. No, wait, I think we did have the worm raid, but that was it. And that wasn't arguably a real raid. I won't lie, that was not a real raid. I don't care what anyone says. That was a glorified world boss, weird raid, single boss raid. I don't agree with that being a raid. But I always felt like New World was being outpaced from the expectations of what everyone else wanted it to be. And I won't lie, I don't think it was unfair. You know what I mean? I don't think gamers had unreasonable expectations for the game. I mean, it barely had any dungeons. The servers were pretty bad. Like, let's be honest. Like, and the fact that you were still locked to a server. By the way, in New World, when it first, for a long time, I don't know how it is now. I'm not super sure. But you were stuck to one server, dude. Like, if you could not play with people from other servers. Now, I believe now with certain game modes you can now, but for the longest time you couldn't. And that's like ridiculous. Like, this game came out in 2021 and you could not play or run dungeons with a friend of yours from a different server, which is just stupid. And it took them so long to finally kind of fix that. And I'm not entirely sure that is fixed yet. And I mean, if it's not, I mean, it's never going to get fixed now, which sucks. But yeah, no, like I just felt like this game just was always a road of disappointment, and just it sucks because the game is also just fucking awesome. It's cool as shit. Like, if you just look at the game, the art style, I gotta say the art team, fantastic job. Sound design team, fantastic fucking job. I would even argue even the combat team deserves some praise. I really think the issue was this game was not originally, when it was being developed, it really didn't know what it was wanting to be. And they really didn't set it down as like a theme park ride MMO style game with dungeons and PvE game loops, gameplay loops, until literally like a year leading up to its release, which is insane. So like, I think this game had a lot of issues, not from what the game was, but like the internal stuff, the base part of the game, the real structure of the game was very flimsy and all over the place. And I feel like that was always what was holding it back. And it's no secret that one of the reasons why they did New World Aeternum in the first place was to make it where the game would be easier to work on, by the way. That was the biggest announcement, was that literally when they announced New World Aeternum was that, hey, us updating the game will be easier from now on. We won't have to, it'd be easier for us to add content or rework systems or change something, because before it was really fucking difficult. And I always feel like that was the thing we got. And also, by the way, if you ever look into any of the head developers past, none of them worked on MMOs before or were hardly qualified. Now, not me saying that they did a terrible job, but it was definitely this New World. The best thing that I could round this up is that it was a learning experience. And I think it's really hard, because I think it did damage to the MMO space, because New World was huge. Like, the first week, it fucking hit like damn near 1 million players. It was a huge. It was number one thing on Twitch. Everyone was excited for it. And everyone got just about everyone got disappointed. It disappointed over 95% of the player base, like, instantly. And then slowly disappointed the other 5%, 4% over time. And that's not underballing it. That's me being nice to them. And like I said, like, New World is a game that just constantly disappointed. And that's what kind of sucks about this, is that I feel like Night Raven was kind of a point where it's like, hey, this is an actual additional part of the game. And if we get more of this, like once, twice a year, fuck, this game will be looking really good. But of course, New World being New World, had to do the most New World thing ever. And when finally the game is starting to look somewhat hopeful, they have to go ahead and make it where they're not going to update the game anymore. So I gotta say, I think this is kind of sadly a fitting end for New World, which kind of sucks. Yeah, no, I'm definitely sad. It really sucks, because I think the team at New World did everything they can to communicate with players and be there. They didn't abandon ship after it fell apart after a year. They they went along and tried and worked with players and worked with the player base and to try to make this game the best thing that it could be. Um, I don't think they failed necessarily, but I definitely don't think they succeeded with this game, which sucks. And I feel like I won't lie, I was wondering when this would happen because like New World wasn't making any extra money and it only costs it to run. It only costs to run this game. So I was curious when the eventual shutdown would be. As of right now, like I said, no planned shutdown for the next year or so. So that's cool. Who knows? Maybe the tables turn around. Maybe in the future they'll do something with the IP. I think the IP is kind of cool. You know, like I said, like if they ever made like a solo adventure game for New World, I would be down to fucking play that shit. It'd be probably pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like a fucking solo base building, fucking like fucking Wicked Rising, that fucking ARPG. Imagine that, but like third person, Soulsborne style, fucking New World game where you're a fucking frontier man, fucking going out into fucking zones and fucking conquering shit and fighting bosses and shit. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Who knows? I'm trying to think of this in a positive light. You know, maybe this can bring new things. Maybe there will be, tables turned in the future. Final little side note, though, I will say this. This is interesting. I'm curious. I have not been able to find anything about the Lord of the Rings MMO, which I'm pretty excited for. I mean, I literally have the Ring of Power right there, and it's on my keychain. I have like 3 of them on my keychain of Lord of the Rings thing. I've never said this. Lord of the Rings is like my favorite IP of all time. Fucking love Lord of the Rings. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the Lord of the Rings MMO. I really hope they still work on that because this is my point. If they can take the lessons they learned with New World and apply that to a new fresh game, I think they'll be able to make an amazing MMO. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. Like I said, the interesting thing is that the direct article from PC Gamer talking about this said apparently that they're specifically looking at cutting back on big name titles, especially MMOs. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Only time will tell. But yeah, this is kind of crappy meh news that just kind of sucks. But like I said, kind of want to spin a positive light. Who knows what this could hold for the future? Maybe they could still do some cool stuff, or maybe it shutting down will lead to some fun experiences with New World shutting down with players returning to say, a goodbye to the game, Anyways, though, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out.